So welcome to the overview of the new Mindful Leadership Advanced Practicum. I am super excited that you're all here, and this is going to be great. It's a lot of fun. So let's get started. So first, let me tell you a little bit about what I've been up to and why I developed this new program and how it all fits together. So you all know me. I was a consultant for a long time, building software for many years, and then consulting for other companies on how to build software. And in time, I noticed that I would see exactly where the real problems in the organizations were, but I was not allowed really to address them because they were outside of the scope of the technical work that I was supposed to be doing. And as you all know, the real problems were usually with the leadership and the leaders themselves. And I saw what a negative influence bad leaders can have on everyone in their organizations, which then ripples out to the company's employees and family and friends and the customers, and it just makes work miserable. And I really believe my purpose is to make work better, and by using that to make the world a better place. And I got tired of being asked to fix technical problems that were actually people problems that needed to be addressed to really make a lasting impact. And I've asked you all here because you also appreciate the huge difference that a positive or negative work environment has on people who work there and everyone who comes into contact with them. And you all know that it's more than just technical or process skills. The real issue is the personal development and responsibility side of leadership. So about 2.5 years ago, I basically dropped corporate consulting to focus on solving what I feel is the real problem. I've been building a program ever since to give people the tools that will actually help them become the kind of leaders who have a positive impact on everyone in the organization. And I started by teaching the 3 pillars of mindful leadership to deal with these 3 distinct scales of experience: the interpersonal, what I call the grounded self, the individual interactions with other people or effective communication skills, and then finally being able to influence the whole organization, what I call tipping the organization. And those 3 pillars have been part of the program that I've been running for the last 2 years. And I've seen some amazing transformations through this work. People's careers change, we have promotions, home lives improve. Many go out to start their own companies. It's been really amazing, and I'm really proud of what we've done. And each cohort goes deeper than the one before it. And I've learned a lot myself about what people really need to know. And what's happened is that at the same time, since near the beginning of the very first cohort, people have been asking for more, for some kind of advanced class, a deeper dive to really get into the work and grapple with it for themselves. And one thing in particular really stands out as a challenge, which is sharing their experience with others. And as you know, to make change in a culture, you have to spread your good ideas. So having good ideas isn't enough. You have to influence people. And yet, almost everyone that I coach struggles with writing and getting their thoughts out there, which is a real tragedy because these are the very people that should be writing and influencing corporate thought, but basically they're stuck inside. And it's not that they don't know how to write or what to say or how to make videos. They're stuck because there's a process that they have to go through of deep personal reflection and growth and ultimately transformation before the real creative juices will come pouring out of them to be funneled into a medium. So part of this is that people are always just too busy. That's why people aren't able to be creative. You can't be a prolific creator if you haven't put in the time to really go deep. The rare person is able to do it on their own somehow, but most people just don't ever do it, right? They don't prioritize it as a real thing. So this is partly the process that I've built to solve this problem. Some of you have known me for years or followed my work for a while. 4 years ago, when I started Startup Patterns, I was already chock full of knowledge and experience about teams and products and engineering and organization and flow. But in 2018, I went through my own deeply profound transformation experience, literally blew my whole life apart and started over rebuilding almost from scratch who I was and what I was doing with it. And in this program, I'm not asking you to quit your job or divorce your spouse or move to a foreign country. But if you do it with me, it's going to feel a lot like that in many ways as you shed your old limitations and the things that have been holding you back and rebuild yourself in a whole new light. So the program is really about 4 main stages of transformation. The first stage is The Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell. We've all heard of the journey as the structure from popular fiction. Some of us know that George Lucas used it to write Star Wars, et cetera, et cetera. Metaphorically, the steps are mostly boiled down to 3 simple things. The call to adventure, which is leaving the known world behind and crossing out of the comfort zone, overcoming monsters and demons, and ultimately crossing through the valley of death and transformation. And then finally returning home with the new powers or knowledge or gifts for the world. But it comes from Campbell's exhaustive study of world mythology and religion. It's more than just good storytelling. There's a really clear theme. In all of these cases, the journey is a metaphor for a human's life as they mature. The stories of myth and religion guide people through a psychological process of growing up. And so the call to adventure is a pull or dissatisfaction that you want to become more or learn something. You leave your everyday life and cross into the unknown. You learn and grow and expand through struggling with internal barriers, which are the reason why you haven't learned or grow before, because those barriers are there. And in overcoming those barriers, you learn a new way to become yourself and live your potential. And then you bring that knowledge back to your community and you share it with the group so that your internal struggle in overcoming can be a benefit to others. And we've all seen bad leadership. It comes in many different flavors, but one thing it has in common is that it blames other people and thinks that everyone else should change, right? Like this is why McKinsey is so popular, because you can spend a ton of money and look like you're doing something and then not really change and just blame either engineering or the consultants. They literally get paid so that you have someone to blame when it doesn't work, right? So that's stage 1. Stage 2 is about overcoming internal barriers. In our work lives, a lot of the challenges we deal with are other people. And the psychiatrist Eric Berne, author of the classic Games People Play, mapped out a lot of the patterns and dynamics that don't serve us and that are so subconscious we don't even really know we're being pulled into them. And frankly, it's a little creepy to learn how much of human interaction is habitual and automatic and often unproductive. These same arguments you get in with the same people around you almost just happen by themselves. And Berne mapped out a lot of these dynamics. And once we can understand what's happening, we can step out of the habitual patterns and not get pulled into other people's games. So Berne basically gives us a map of the dark territory that keeps us from making changes and reaching our dreams. I mean, the reason why we haven't overcome them yet is because they're really sneaky and hard to see. You know, when you want to change or improve and first get started, often when it doesn't work, what happens, right? Because when we try to improve, we run smack into these patterns and it takes a lot of energy to overcome them. But we're going to do it together as a group. The third stage, another way we run into trouble is not truly understanding how different people are from ourselves and how different their motivations and values are. And this fuels a lot of games and a lot of misunderstandings and strife, hurt feelings, broken relationships, you name it. And the great psychoanalyst Carl Jung identified the core personality components that vary within people. And after the devastation of World War II, Catherine Briggs read Jung's work and saw the potential to enhance human understanding of each other and hopefully avoid another terrible conflict like that again. And later, she, with her daughter, Isabel Myers, developed Jung's work into a way to describe different personality types and lead to better understanding among people. So with the what we now think of as the Myers-Briggs type indicator, we have a really powerful map of personalities and values that shows other people are truly different from us, not just malfunctioning versions of ourselves. And so these maps of the territory, the internal hero's journey of change, the MBTI, and with Burns' work on games and scripts, give us so much more power to be successful rather than blundering around in the darkness, right? And look, this information isn't a secret. It's in books, in the public domain. It can change lives and has, but so few people are able to change themselves even after reading them, because the best maps are useless if you don't look at them, right? And the purpose of this program is to take the time to really look at ourselves and the people around us and understand what's happening there. And that brings us to the fourth stage. This is a big one. The underlying cause of dysfunction and conflict and personal limitation is the automatic patterns in our minds, right? We know from work like Daniel Kahneman's work, Thinking Fast and Slow, and Lisa Barrett Feldman, and the vast library of psychology, psychiatry, and neuroscience, that being mentally present is critical. And the key to unlocking our patterns and taking back our own freedom is mindfulness. And we've all heard about it. It's become almost a buzzword. But what it really means on a practical level is that you can use these skills that when anything happens, you don't get sucked in or distracted, right? Like you can take just a split second to step back and remember to look at the maps and see where you are in the territory, right? And study after study has shown the power of mindfulness, right? But people are constantly competing for your attention, and it pulls you away from being mindful. So you really have to fight to stay present in the moment and not go down the path of rumination in everything that happens, right? How many times a day do you think about what you should have said in a previous conversation, or daydream or agonize about what might or might not happen? I'll tell you, nearly all of it. In fact, rare is the moment that you're completely present in what you're doing, right? You know that. I don't need to tell you that. So when we have all these four stages together, we get to the final step, which is the sharing with other people, right? It's a huge part of my purpose to mentor and support people to mature their thinking about leadership and get their ideas out into the work world, because the work world has a huge effect on people's lives and our whole society. And this is my way of changing the world. So I'm introducing this program really as a way to focus on doing just that. What I see with the people that I work with is that they're good people with good values, and they're getting leadership skills through the 3 Pillars program. And the next step is really to start spreading the knowledge and producing content. And that's where a lot of people get stuck. So this program is really a kind of a thought leader incubator to teach people the skills to be the best quality leader they can, and plan their goals and strategize about how to maximize their voice and start crafting and publishing high quality leadership content. So this will be a really concrete step for you to create something meaningful and important to share. You know, we're going to look at what your goals are, no matter how moonshot it feels, your real dream goal. It's like getting featured in Wired, being a guest on CNN, an op-ed in the New York Times, a TED Talk. It doesn't matter what the outcome is, how big or crazy it feels. You'll have a completed piece of content by the end of this process to start your path of thought leadership from your true creative center. So, if you're ready to hear about how this works, here we go. Okay, so this is a 6-month program that will go straight to your core. We're going to meet twice a month for 6 months. We'll spend the first 4 months working through each of the 4 stages of transformation that I first outlined. Each month we'll have some assigned readings, excerpts from the great texts, just a chapter or 2 of the really good stuff. And we'll meet 2 times a month to discuss the material, to strategize how to apply it to your work. And then you're going to go and apply what you've learned right away in practice, and then report back to the group at the next meeting on your progress. And we'll traverse the hero's journey, the essence of games and scripts and overcoming those internal barriers, the personality types, and then finally the power of mindfulness. And all of this experience that you're gathering as you're going out and trying these things and bringing back your progress and discussing it as a team is going to go into creating something really special that you can share with the world, which is your story. And so in the last 2 months, we'll work on a unique publishable piece, be it a presentation, an article, a video, whatever medium you choose to tell your story. And we'll start by setting goals, building out a production plan, and then you'll create and bring a draft version to the group to get feedback and support. And then we'll iterate 3 more times. And in the final meeting, you'll present what you've created to the group. And it's not just going to languish. These content pieces you create won't just hang out in the ether. They're going live and you're going to impact others, because during this whole period, we'll be working as well on a launching strategy to get your stuff out into the target audience that you dreamed up in the beginning. And so when you're done with this program, you will be a thought leader, I guarantee it, and you will never look at getting your voice out there the same way. You'll do the work, you'll have a group to help support you and hold you accountable, and you'll have me to coach you through it. So you have a choice to make. You can take what you've learned here and you can go it alone and you can try to apply these things and hope to make it work. Or you can decide to get help, work on it together as a group, and make the next 6 months truly transformational by joining us and enrolling in this amazing and unique program. And if you're ready to transform yourself into the best possible leader and share your story with the world, let me or Alyssa know, and we'll get you signed up.